Hey everyone, it's Alex coming at you. So I received a package in the mail yesterday, Tuesday, February 5th, and just wanted to share with you. Really, excited about this record. So we're gonna unbox it here. I'm doing the voiceover here after the fact, so you have to bear with me a little bit here. I will fast forward it if needed. So yeah, what we have here, really is an incredible record from one of the greatest living composers, Terry Riley. His debut record, released in 1967, recorded in 1966 at his studio loft in New York City. This was released on the Mass Art label, which was, basically a small imprint led by Philip Ornstein, who was, among other things, a painter and involved with the pop art movement, in the 50s, as well as Fluxus and the Happenings movement. And in fact, the only two other records that were issued on this label are a spoken word record by Alan Capro, I believe is his name, who's a performance artist, and then another record by John Cage and Max Neuhaus, which is really amazing. I think it's from 1965. It's a true noise record that sounds like something at least 20 years ahead of anything that came before it, or after, really. And so this record comes out, like I said, in 1967, and it's really about documenting Terry Riley's early experiments with tape. Portable tape recorders came into the U.S. After the war in the 50s, eventually became commercially available in the mid-50s. And then you have, by 1958-59, you already have, people like Pauline Oliveros in San Francisco, at the San Francisco Tape Music Center, already using tape and tape loops to create new music and new art. And so a little bit more about this release. So this particular release from Terry Riley, according to Discogs, released 1,000 copies were pressed. As you can see here, it's a silk screened cover. And supposedly all the copies were sort of sealed in a heavy PVC jacket, presumably to sort of protect the screen printed art. And as a result, it's likely that a lot of the copies, were damaged by sort of the hydrochloric gases from the PVC, damaging the vinyl. I've inspected the copy that I received, and I, of course, played it, and I'll throw in some a little bit of a sound sample here at the end. But I was very lucky. The record is beautiful, plays beautifully. As you can tell, the jacket's in pretty good shape. There's a couple of little scuffs here and there, but looks outstanding. The seams are great. So, yeah, getting back to the music. So, you had these, Revox tape machines. Terry Riley got his hands on one. He was in Europe also, in the early 60s. And famously, he met Chet Baker, ends up using and basically remixing some of his playing with some other groups out in Europe. And these remixes sort of become what will become part of a tape piece called The Gift, which in many ways is maybe the world's first true remix. And then that in turn, The Gift would in turn become sort of the foundation for In C, his most famous piece that was later, released in 1969, a little bit after this particular release. So this is around that same time, again, experimenting with tape loops. Now in this case, not using any pre-recorded samples. He's using so there's two pieces, side-long pieces on this record. One of them featuring his organ. Terry Riley was an incredible piano player first. In fact, the reason he was in Europe in the first place because he was sort of making a living by playing at the piano at jazz clubs and things like that. And later adopted the organ, which became one of his signature instruments. So that's side one, basically taking these short discrete little melodies on the organ, and then superimposing them using the tape loops to manipulate kind of how they interact with each other. Supposedly, there's no edits here, so he's doing everything sort of real time, with the tape loops. And then side two, similar technique, but now using the soprano saxophone instead of the organ, and again using the tape delays and the tape loops to create these incredible layers. And that's what I'll play here at the end of the video, some of that piece. Now, obviously using the soprano saxophone really gives it a really interesting sort of Middle Eastern, North African type of sound, similar to the tonal qualities of that saxophone certainly are similar to some of the instruments of that region of the world, and for that reason it's also particularly a great piece in my opinion. This record, it's been reissued on CD, and there's a couple of bootlegs out, one of which I have. I think they're probably just needle drops. It doesn't sound terrible or anything like that, but certainly a record deserving of of an official reissue. I don't know anything about the tapes, but obviously Terry Riley, along with Steve Reich and Lamont Young, they're almost all the same age. They're all 88, 89 years old here and still with us, which is just amazing to think about just by itself. But yeah, just wanted to share this this find with you guys. Got this from a European dealer for a very good price, sort of something he put up on Discogs, and we came to an agreement off Discogs. So enjoy the music, and look forward to hearing your comments. Bye.
Thank you.